G on top. You're holding the G, so use the fingers you got left to play the notes. Continue this. The exception is here, this next to last, like we're going to use second finger. Okay, here's another real simple lick that'll kind of combine the idea of one note ringing while the others play, or the other fingers play something else, and sliding between positions. Just playing. Well, here, let me play it first. The idea is real simple. Just play a arpeggio of an A minor. But while you hold the E while you move between the A and the C, then slide it down. The same thing down. So we got A minor, F, arpeggio, then a C. Now we're going to play a G. This is a D minor. This is a A minor. G. The lick I was just playing has got a combination of arpeggios, chromatic notes, and polyphonic suggestion, all rolled into one. It's a real powerful lick, and it's got, well, it'll push the time right along with it. And we're going to learn it as a lick, but once again, the point is to figure out a way to turn this into some way that'll help your style, give you some ideas, some creative ideas to improve your soloing or to give you different avenues, different points of view. We're going to start with, I'll start with the first note as a novel concept. Okay, it's a high A. This is in A minor. Why is everything in A today? Well, because if you write things in A minor, there's less sharps and flats, and it's easy to read. But this concept can go in any key, anywhere on the guitar. It's no big deal to transpose it. So let's start with the first note, A. We're going to use the fourth finger there because this kind of adds on to our idea of using strange fingerings in order to let notes ring or in order to easily grab other notes. So we're going to get a high A, and our top notes, that's our top part, but we're going to fill it in with a bunch of other notes to support it. So we got A, and then on the G string, C, B, A. So let's now move to E. What's this? That note's not in the scale. Right, but it's just a chromatic note, a passing note. So we're going to use it. Again, we go E. And then the C with the second. B with the fourth. Again, a chromatic note. And then A. Again, we're starting on the second octave, going familiar fingering. You notice in this fingering, we're not depending on keeping the top note ringing. This is because this is designed more for distortion. And with distortion, If you have one note ringing over another, it's not as likely to sound good or as clear as if you kill every note as you move on. Okay, again. Next is a G chord, starting on the D. That's just stretching it a little bit because it's some weird notes in there. But actually, there's only one note that's different. That's the F sharp instead of F. Again, you'll find it's on the weak part of the beat. So it works fine. And then one more time on an A minor, starting on C. And we can finish it off any way we want or go back up. In this case, we'll go and just kind of end it. So we go. Okay, if any of these scalar ideas sound too normal for you, you might want to try this lick, which is kind of derived from Joe DiOrio's concept. He did some seminars down at the University of Miami a long time ago when I was a student there, and this kind of shows some of his influence. What this is an intervallic. Sounds pretty fancy. Just means skipping around on the strings. Playing a little pattern in fifths. Start on the D, second finger, A, fourth finger, E, first, B, fourth. Come back down with A, D, G with your third, and C with your fourth. Now move the whole lick up a major third from where we started, but start on the next string. So start on second finger on F sharp, C sharp with your fourth, G sharp with your second, D sharp. I guess sick, I know. C sharp, F sharp, B with your third, and E with your first. Then continue the pattern, starting a third down from where that ends. So. And continue all up and down the guitar until someone in your household runs screaming and turns off your amp. The title or the basic idea of this is power lines and things that will really give you a lot of power in your playing, but along the way, while I'm demonstrating some of these things, this particular amp setup I'm using is real conducive to harmonics, so I've been grabbing a few here and there. I'm going to show you some of the techniques I use for that. One is tons O distortion. That makes it easy. And by using the pick real close to the skin of my fingers, I can grab harmonics out of notes. You can see there's different harmonic points along the string. And I don't want to get into a whole theory discussion of harmonics and fundamental in the harmonic series and everything, but one way to get harmonics is by choking up on the pick, and what you're actually trying to do is strike the pick, or correction, strike the string with your pick while you're muting half of the string with your skin, the skin or your fingernail or whatever happens to be right there next to the pick. That's one way of doing it. Another way for getting specific notes is to do artificial harmonics. And it's a pretty easy concept. You just play a note and then find a naturally occurring harmonic a certain number of frets above it. That would be 12 frets above, or 7 frets above, or 5 frets above, and it gets shorter and shorter and shorter. The easiest one is 12 frets above. Let's do that first. Here I'm playing an E on the B string. Go 12 frets above. I'm going to pick the note at the same time that I touch right over the fret wire, 12 frets above the note I'm fretting. So it gives a different sound to the string. Like I said, you can go 7 frets above and 5 frets above and even shorter, but it gets harder and harder to make music out of it. And the fingering changes. Like here, you have an E. Now you got a B. Now you got an E again. Now you got to do it in a different key if you do 7 frets above. So you want to use whichever technique gives you the best results. These are just some ideas. Well, thanks for joining me today on this lesson. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me hear back from you. If you see me at one of the clinics I do or at a gig or something, I'd like to get some feedback. Oh, feedback, no, not that kind of feedback. And I'd like to thank some of the companies that lent their support in other ways. American Music for lending us some of the stuff, Peavy, Ernie Ball, Music Band, Lexicon, DiMarzio, and MCA Records for letting me do the video, and Roger at REH, and Don Mock for lending a tremendous amount of creative help with the video. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.